Once again, we're going to cover something here that a lot of people they're feeding into bullshit like you need roughness meters and stuff for your block finishes. Uh, I don't understand how that technology came into engine building. I do have a straight edge. Most comprehensive thing you can do when you're doing an engine is make sure your surfaces are true on your engine block. Okay? That is number one. I'm going to teach again about nomenclature. And I'm going to insult those idiots that a roughness meter. That's for fine machine work where surfaces actually travel back and forth against each other. Has nothing to do with a freaking gasket sealing. I don't know where these idiots, I don't know where they come from. I don't know if there's a degeneration that people will. I guess today, because of the lack of education, not everybody is off a Navy ship where we did things the military way, as they called it back in my day, where they actually took you by your hand and, come on, Dutch, come on over here, we're going to teach you. Well, a lot of it I already knew because I grew up, like I said, in a speed shop. So mechanical stuff really wasn't a stranger to me by, my 18th birthday. I was already very well advanced in my career. But let's call bullshit, okay? First of all, I want to thank, before I get onto this, these people. These people were my mentors. Johnny Bender, his dad worked at Circle S Machine Shop in Allentown, and he did all my engines. Okay, it was J.D. Snyder actually, Auto Parts, Circle S. They called it Circle S Allentown. Dave and Brian Early, we used to call them the Early Birds. There's another Dave Early from Wilkes-Barre. He's not the guy. These guys were stock car people here, and I believe both of them. They were probably 20 years older than me. And that's not that old when you're a kid. They were probably about my age, and I don't think I haven't seen hide nor hair of either of them. But they were the early birds. They were the only people that could be late, and they were still early. Okay. And then I have Collis Truck Parts. There was Howard out there, David Bachman. Okay. These are people, okay, Dave Weatherspoon, that were in my life that knew their shit. So when I used to get my self in trouble, these are the people I would appeal to. So now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes here. Again, short video. MLS gaskets, okay? They are a metal alloy liquid sealed gasket. This here turns to a liquid. This black stuff. Okay? This stuff that's all around here, that's what seals your gasket. This is an imitation copper alloy, and it's actually better than copper because it is a little harder. Okay, so when you compress this and you do have a hollow area, even though it is a hollow area, you're not going to deform up or down. It's just going to go over the area. And that's why I suggest to everybody, okay, put a little piece of tape on your weep holes. Boy, I'm having a hell of a time with the camera. These weep holes, okay, they're on both sides. Not so much here. You can use copper gasket sealer over all of that. It's not going to hurt it. These weep holes, okay, there, you got to tape those off. Don't get your copper in there because it can block them, okay? But other than that, shoot your gasket with a copper and lay it on the block. Shoot the back side of your head and then put it on, okay? And just a light coat. Right now I'm fitting and I'm mating parts, okay? So these gaskets, they all have a terminology. They have a nomenclature, okay? So that is a liquid sealed metal gasket, MLS, okay? HS, okay, that's headset with a metal liquid sealed gasket, okay? MCC, that's a metal copper clad gasket. MCC. You don't really see that too much anymore. The only places I really see using copper gaskets anymore are mopeds, and people know I work on the motorized bicycles. We can use it. That conforms and gets along with an aluminum, or I should say a cast, sand cast aluminum. Okay, that was popular using when there was radial engines. Like my grandfather, he worked for Lycoming. engines, okay, and Vultee aircraft. My grandfather was an engine man. He used to build those big radial engines. It used to blow my mind when I was a little kid and he would take me in. They had days when you could take your children into the factory. I was just, wow. And that's how I knew I wanted to be involved with aircraft. CMG, okay, copper clad metal gasket, CC. Okay, sometimes they have CCNG, which is it's a CNC type of machine material. Okay, then you have M&M gaskets, FS, okay, that's a fiberglass serrated gasket. That's these. These are a MAL gasket. Male gasket, Mally, whatever you want to call it, okay? These are a serrated fiberglass gasket, okay? These are the factory. And this is how you can tell whether you had a leak on your head. See the rust? See the rust? So that does mean my block is going to get taped off on those little ports. Okay, so I don't block those, and I might even put a thin layer over the block, then place the gasket with it on it and that. I mate all my parts before I fit stuff together. Okay, we just had a hell of a hullabaloo. This, I can't find the headers anymore. The Super Sport, the factory stainless headers with this port. So you have to put your own in there, which means you're going to have to modify your EGR if you're going to keep your EGR. Here in Pennsylvania, they have emissions, and it might come to this area one day, so you have to have all that equipment the truck came with, because they will check and you will be screwed. Okay, and just because it's a hot rod, it still needs it, unless you have it titled a certain way, and then you got to pay a fortune to do your titling and your registration for a total street rod, hot rod, whatever. So my best bet is these engines make enough power for the street. Okay, if I'm going to build a real race engine, okay, I'm going to build a real hot rod, and it's just going to the drag strip. I'm just a little bit beyond that age. I don't, when you break something at my age, it hurts a lot more, and it lasts, okay? You're not going to heal like when you were a kid. So that's the reason why I'm not climbing behind the wheels of a stock car, outside of maybe doing a seasonal, what they call like a perennial appearance. Every now and then I'll run the Firecracker 500. I'll find out if a driver's sick or something like that, and they'll still let me on the track, and I don't disclose my health issues. I just did on YouTube, but they don't really bother me too much about that. And they know I'm an aggressive driver, but I'm not a dangerous driver. I don't go out and bang the shit out of people that they want to come and kill me. My younger day, I did do stuff like that, but I was a guy that couldn't afford to wreck his race car. Mommy and Daddy weren't footing the bill. I was, out of my paychecks, and fortunately, I said in another video, if I had all that money back I've spent on cars, and I'm still doing it at my age, but I have something nice. I don't have to send it to the junkyard. I can fix it. And I'm happy. I'm very comfortable in that truck out there. I'm very comfortable. I'm more at home and more oriented to a vehicle like that. I've driven other trucks. I don't like them outside of the F-150, I would say the mid-2000, like 2013s, 14s, 15s. Those trucks I like, and they make a lot of power, and you know what I mean. But I'm just not a Ford guy. I'm not into that UFO and gotcha for a $500 sensor underneath the hood shit. GM's a little more mild on that, and the parts on these things, they're nickels and dimes now. So it pays you if you have an older one sitting there and it's still in decent shape. Go over it, see what it needs, and you can probably put it back together. Those engines will go forever. They're kind of like that door buzzer or dinger in the vehicles. Those engines will last just as long as the door buzzer and dinger. They'll both outlast the vehicles. How many people go out here to Harry's and pull those LS engines out for $300, bring them home and redo them? And as a matter of fact, I'm engaging in a project like that this summer. And I'm going to try to get this Ford Rescue put together that I can be there with a camera and not having to it's difficult for me to do the work, okay? We don't have a team of people behind the scenes helping us get something going and helping bringing us food. It's usually me and the other owner or whatever, because a lot of these videos are smoke and freaking mirrors. You guys want to drive a 40, 50-year-old car out of its grave or whatever. Those head gaskets, all those gaskets are in feeble condition, and 9 chances out of 10 you're going to start putting water down the motor block when you fire something up that's been sitting 30, 40, 50 years. Have some common sense. I don't agree with it, especially if you're going to save the vehicle. And maybe the engine, yeah, it's going to be rebuilt, but I would tear it down right away. I like to have something. Even the transmissions. I had a guy, he just put a vehicle back together, 40 years old, had a 40-year-old transmission. It lasted him about 2 months, and then he, instead of going to Summit and calling him up and getting on the blower and say, hey, I need a transmission, how much? It's a lot of money, $2,000-3,000 for a transmission, and another $1,000 to put it in if you pay a guy. That's why it pays to do shit yourself and pay attention to these videos. So when you're talking these yo-yos with roughness meters and all that other dumb shit, holy cow, it blows my mind, and they represent themselves as a professional. I've been building engines for years without dumb shit like that. As long as that surface is clean, there's no grime on it, and you use a little bit of sealer, because a lot of people, I might go over that in another video, how to use certain sealers. I don't have the spray copper gasket sealer yet, simply because I did not buy it yet. I'm still cleaning her up, and I probably will buy that later on today, if not tomorrow morning. And I have to get some food in my house. My health is not good right now. I am sick as a dog, and I'm getting jerked off by this Lehigh Valley Hospital. I want to tell you about Lehigh Valley Hospital in Hazleton, PA. Don't take a cat or a dog there. It's the worst place. It's so disorganized. It's bullshit. But anyway, I'm out of here. And clean up your head bolts and soak your head bolts. Wire wheel your head bolts. I have mine soaking in here. Don't grease your head bolts. Soak them in oil. Those holes in the block, in the engine block where the bolts went down in, blow each and every hole out. If you have, say, like I do, one of these. These are a lifesaver. Okay? Go in that hole, take this up and down, and then blow it out. Just like, well, we're not going to go there. Anyway. Okay? With me not feeling right and whatever, I'm just taking my time with this. These guys that have you believing you're going to put a cam and put these motors, I rip it down. I put new head gaskets on. I don't want this thing failing on me. Sometimes when you tear it apart, you do cause yourself another problem. That's another reality you got to face. Some of this stuff, when it gets to be the age it is, like if you're going to put the old manifolds back on, I don't know where, I think the other one's over in the shit pile. These bolts right here will snap off on inside the manifold. So these bolts that go right here like this, they break. So there you're going to be going out and buying a drill bit and a tap if you don't have one. But that's just the nature of the business. And relatively, you should know that it's I believe they're an 8mm bolt. They're either 8 or 6mm. I think they're 8. But anyway, that's gonna save you in the long run. That you need to be prepared when you tear something like this apart, and when people are trying to sell you stuff you really don't need. I have never, ever, as long as I see a machined, clean surface that's flat, that's all you need. You don't need roughness meters, and oh my God, I'm seeing so much dumb stuff on YouTube, my head's gonna, I feel sometimes like I just want to reach through the screen and grab one of these Muppets and say, what the hell's the matter with you? But anyway, that's what a roughness meter does, is when parts are on a frictional coefficient, it measures the frictional coefficient of the steel. It has nothing to do with putting a goddamn gasket on an engine, you meatheads. So anyway, that's how I'm going to end my video, calling these guys with roughness meters and all this other dumb shit. You don't need it. Don't buy anything you don't need. Okay? I'm stingy. I only buy what I need. But I do buy good tools for myself. I just bought a puller set, and getting that harmonic balancer off, I don't recommend that. They sell one on Amazon for like 40 bucks. Get that one, because I destroyed the one puller right out of that. So the whole set's going back, and I'm going to get a nice new one. And I can just keep it in the box for the next time I feel like an idiot. But anyway, the puller, it just... And the harmonic balancer was about halfway off. So then I just got the other, there was another smaller puller in the set, and that got it the rest of the way off. But man, I just never seen nothing like that. But anyway, that's how I'm going to end my video. You don't need roughness meters and this, that. Spray copper gasket sealer on these LS engines, especially on the headers. This header, I have a piece of board made up. I have holes drilled. I'm going to spray this with my copper gasket sealer. Hey, I like choking on a cigarette in my video. I'm going to spray this surface, and then I'm going to put my gasket on, and then I'm going to bolt it, that it hardens on there. And I'm going to put wax paper in between so it doesn't, so that if it does ooze a little bit, it's not going to stick to the board. Because sometimes that copper, the Permatex, it can be pretty aggressive, but it does a nice job that when you bolt your header in, and you have your bolts trimmed down, and you're nice and tight, your header is going to stay there. If you don't use the copper gasket sealer on your header, you're screwed. Okay? And particularly go to Summit and get a good set of header gaskets. Again, you don't want one of those serrated, the FS type of serrated metal gaskets like these. You don't want one of these metal gaskets, okay? You want a good, like a fiberglass gasket that'll, the adhesive's going to stick to the gasket. It sticks to this fairly well, but you still have that serration in there, and you still have places where air. And when you're running higher compression and bigger camshafts, you're going to be pushing a lot more air out the exhaust than you had been. So that's just a warning to get a good, decent header gasket off of Summit, Jegs, I don't care where you get it. Even A&A. A&A has header gaskets. Be prepared, $55 for a set of header gaskets. I checked at A&A and I said, screw that shit. I called Summit and got them for 34 bucks. So, I realize they got to pay for a storefront, and they're handy when I do need certain things. They do have certain chemicals in stock that I use, different things. I don't want the stores to evaporate, but you're gouging a little bit at 20. That's at almost a 40% markup. I mean, because they probably pay $15 for $10 maybe to the manufacturer, and then they mark it up, $30, $40. Holy shit. So that's how it's getting put into stuff together. These stores like Advance, they're putting themselves out of business because Amazon and the rest of them are selling it cheaper. So that's how this video ends. Don't buy anything you don't need, but buy what you do need and buy good stuff. Not like I bought those Mickey Mouse pullers. I could pull, I want to slap myself for buying that. But you know what? It did get the balancer off, but I'm not doing another job with it, so it's going back to the store. I'm not going to keep a piece of junk. So thank you guys for participating. I like some of the comments, the feedback I got. People, I guess they know how to find me or whatever through, I'm on Amazon on the marketplace now. So if you're looking for rust panels, body work, and stuff like that here in the Poconos and near the Hazleton area, people are coming from Stroudsburg. I got a job coming from Reading. That's just a small patch job or whatever, but it is paying off. So you can find me on Amazon. The Rust Shop is what I call myself. Hopefully they have me registered the right way. I'm under Auto Body. Thanks.